listeners, Advocacy Coordinator Tatum here to say thank you for starting your day with our peerless, trusted Progress Texas podcasts. This critical midterm year, you can invest in the largest digital network for Texas progressives by becoming a monthly member for our summer drive. If you haven't joined or increased your gift yet, you can join today at the link in the show notes, and we'll thank you with union-made merch to match your values, plus a shout out on the Daily Dispatch. Thanks in advance for funding the progressive Texas you want to live in today.
Joshua Harris, partner at Brewer Attorneys and Counselors in Dallas. Progress Texas is an amazing platform that really exposes progressive values across the state of Texas and nationally. With the support of everyone in the community, it can do so much more with respect to expanding the platform. Progress Texas is only getting started.
It's Wednesday, July 15th, 2026, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Progress Texas amplifies progressive values, leaders, and actions through our no-paywall podcasts and digital media. We make Texas politics easy to understand and to participate in, and your support for fact-based independent media hands the mic to millions of Texans. Huge thanks to Kelly Mosier, I know that guy, Sean Hayward, and Laura Wildenthal for their ongoing sustaining support. Much appreciated. We start beyond Texas this morning, as it feels like one of those fateful and uneasy moments may be arriving with tomorrow night's national address from Donald Trump, who the Associated Press says is expected to attempt to resurrect long-debunked conspiracy theories about his election loss to Joe Biden in 2020. Ahead of this speech, intense concern is building among voting rights advocates that Trump is ramping up a leveraging of the power of the presidency to destroy public trust in the democratic process ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. The pattern is certainly there to see. MS Now says the Trump administration has lately been systematically booting independent voices and replacing them with loyalists in key federal roles from which to support Trump's false claims of election fraud, including the remaining members of the bipartisan Federal Election Assistance Commission, which had resisted his demands to restrict voting access. Those folks are out. Trump has also been stacking the office of the Director of National Intelligence with fanatical loyalists like Bill Pulte, who has no intelligence experience but plenty of hours logged pushing allegations of mortgage fraud against Trump's opponents, and Trump devotee and former Fox News contributor John Solomon, who are pushing to declassify raw intelligence documents in an effort to highlight alleged voting machine vulnerabilities and foreign interference. Former senior national security officials have called this planned document release irresponsible. One goes further and calls it, quote, complete and utter bullshit, unquote, warning that publicizing raw, unvetted files will only serve to compromise intelligence sources and needlessly erode public trust, which, of course, is likely the goal here. Jacob Knudsen at Democracy Docket writes that Trump's opposition, including Georgia Senator John Ossoff, are sounding the alarm that Donald Trump is hitting the gas on a coordinated attempt to build a pretext for challenging Democratic midterm victories and to attempt a forced passage of the restrictive Save America Act, which would disenfranchise millions of eligible voters across the country. As we get ready for this speech tomorrow night, let's carefully review the actual real live facts. Despite Donald Trump's years-long efforts to find evidence of a rigged system, a mountain of official reviews continues to confirm the integrity and accuracy of the 2020 election. Chris Walker at Truthout reminds us that exhaustive audits and reviews, many overseen by Republicans, including Donald Trump's own first-term Attorney General Bill Barr, have found no evidence of significant fraud. The U.S. intelligence community has also consistently maintained that no foreign adversary, even among those who tried, were successful in altering the outcome of the 2020 election. While adversaries like Russia, China, and Iran did do their damnedest with online influence campaigns to sway public opinion, intelligence officials draw a sharp line between social media propaganda efforts and actual technical interference. A landmark March 2021 assessment by the National Intelligence Council found, quote, no indications that any foreign actor attempted to alter any technical aspect of the voting process, unquote. As nerve-wracking as it might be, let's remember that this speech tomorrow is part of a decade-long pattern of Donald Trump preemptively casting doubt on election results. This isn't about facts. It's about the biggest ego on the planet. Despite losing the 2020 popular vote by over 7 million and the Electoral College 306 to 232 to Joe Biden, like a sullen and stubborn schoolboy, Donald Trump has never been able to bring himself to face and digest that resounding defeat and has now spent years claiming that the race was somehow stolen from him. His claims as such have been repeatedly rejected in court, including by judges he appointed. It's shameful and stupid. This new move is just part of that same sad drama, and the vast majority of the American public are exhausted by Donald Trump's empty and old conspiracy theories, all of which have been resolved over and over again for years. But meanwhile, right now, this man does have his hands on the levers of power and the actual ability to interfere with the process. So unfortunately, we do have to maintain our focus on this sideshow between here and November. Significant developments surrounding the ICE shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo in Houston now just over 1 week ago, which compounded by the ICE killing of Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero, a 26-year-old Colombian national, during a vehicle stop in Biddeford, Maine, also a case of fatal mistaken identity, has drawn a harsh spotlight upon the agency's aggressive use of warrantless vehicle stops. April Towery at the Houston Press says that ICE has announced a temporary pause on most vehicle stops to retrain their agents, but it's become clear that ICE at its core is a rogue and deeply militarized agency that no quick training session is going to fix. Congressman Christian Menifee of Houston is among those calling for the agency to be dismantled and rebuilt from the ground up in order to restore public trust. Ryan Nickerson at the Houston Chronicle says that after facing sharp criticism for an initial response seen by many Houstonians as, let's say, sluggish, Houston Mayor John Whitmire and Police Chief Noe Diaz have finally leaned into a serious push for a state-level investigation, formally calling on the Texas Rangers to conduct an independent inquiry into the Araujo shooting. A move also likely escalated with Texas DPS Director Freeman Martin's revelation that state investigators had not yet been asked to intervene by any local authority in Houston. While Whitmire and Diaz are on their back foot and in damage control mode after seemingly failing to keep up with the demands for justice blaring from their community, Harris County DA Sean Tier has been much more proactive. KHOU-TV saying Tier has declared that his office is fully prepared to file criminal charges against the individual ICE agents involved in the fatal shooting if the evidence supports charges of a range of offenses, from murder to criminally negligent homicide to tampering with evidence. Tier also criticizes the tactical execution of the vehicle stop. He thinks the agents were operating under bad training and perhaps unnecessarily escalating the situation. The federal government's expected to claim immunity, but Tier says there are legal pathways to bypass those protections if the agents acted outside the scope of their employment. KHOU has constructed a video timeline of the incident using 9 available surveillance cameras in the area in lieu of the body cam footage that, of course, doesn't exist. It's the most clear depiction I've seen so far of how this all went down. See the link in the show notes, and nice work, KHOU. Meanwhile, Julian Aguilar at the Houston Chronicle says the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and the House Homeland Security Democrats are planning to hold a crucial field hearing in Houston on July 24th, 1 week from Friday, to demand accountability for the killing of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. These lawmakers noting that federal authorities continue to stonewall local investigators about the shooting, during which eyewitnesses say agents never identified themselves before opening fire on Araujo. San Antonio Congressman Joaquin Castro is leading this charge to confront the agency's systemic bias and its aggressive racial profiling of Latino citizens, calling on Congress to freeze ICE funding and ultimately disband the agency. Will continue to follow. Austin listeners, there's a very cool event coming up in East Austin this Friday. Common Cause Texas is hosting a free matinee screening of the documentary John Lewis, Good Trouble at Eastside Cinema in Austin on Friday the 17th at 12 noon. Snacks will be provided, and there will also be a post-screening discussion on John Lewis's legacy and how we can all get into some much-needed good trouble this election season. RSVP is requested ahead of time. See that link in the show notes. Houston listeners, the next episode of our In Progress Roundtable show will come to you on the radio in the middle of a new Thursday afternoon block of progressive political programming. In Progress starts at 6:30 p.m. every Thursday on KPFT 90.1 FM after the Progressive Forum and before the midterm show with Ernest Wittring, and it runs a second time every Sunday morning at 11 on KPFT FM HD2. With your support, we hope to expand our radio footprint beyond Houston this year. Click the link in the show notes to make your tax-deductible donation to help us reach new audiences via Texas Radio. This election year, you can support the real free press by investing in pro-democracy, pro-justice, progressive storytelling delivered by Texans for Texans. Join Progress Texas this summer ahead of the midterms and become a monthly donor today, or increase your giving for our summer sustaining donor drive. With your partnership, we can reach more independents, more progressives, and more young voters, all of whom must be mobilized to win elections. elections this fall. We invite you to sign up or to increase your support during our summer drive, and we'll thank you with Perks for Progress in the form of union-made merch to match your values. You can choose from an exclusive Resist coffee mug, a sweet Progress Texas summer koozie, or a progressive button pack. Plus, you'll get a shout-out here on the Daily Dispatch. For example, our good friend Leslie Berry has stepped up and bumped up her support level. Leslie, huge thanks for your longtime friendship and for funding the progressive Texas that you want to live in. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Wednesday, July 15, 2026. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. When lies in Texas are well funded by the far right, your support for fact-based reporting is needed and appreciated. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a terrific day. We'll catch you again right here tomorrow morning.